Once you get past the cold and the fact that it's late February, you can't beat the beauty of this ride out. I mean, honestly, how many people would pay for a boat ride like this? I've never been to Alaska, but from what I've seen of Alaska, it looks very similar to what we have here, especially when Cadillac is covered in snow in the winter. It's really beautiful. If you've been to Alaska, or if you think it looks like Alaska, drop a comment and let me know what you think. Well, we're out here on another February day. It's mid-20s, so quite a bit warmer than it has been. Pretty nice morning, really flat, calm to start. Just a slight breeze starting out here now. Gonna pick up a little bit later on the wind. It's gonna breeze up, so we're gonna try to get in as many as we can before the wind starts blowing too hard. Here we go, Jimbo. What a great morning this was. Blue skies, sun shining, hardly a breath of wind. You can't beat days like this in February, and they are generally few and far between. So this was really just an awesome day to be out there on the water. I will say though, if there was one thing I could change, it would be the temperature. It was about 20 degrees, which is actually warmer than it has been, but, 20 degrees is still fairly chilly. I don't know about you, but for me, it's a little bit chilly. So what do you think? Do you think we're pretty tough being out there in 20 degrees, or do you think I should toughen up and stop crying about it? Let me know in the comments what you think. So that was a nice keeper there. And here's a little one. We catch millions of these in the course of a year. Literally millions. And when I say millions, I'm not exaggerating. As a matter of fact, I used to do a sea sampling job for the state with some traps that were specially made to catch small lobsters. And many times we'd catch 70, 80 lobsters that size in those traps. What an absolutely gorgeous day out there. Sometimes you just kind of forget you're even working, out there enjoying the blue skies, sun shining, fresh air, and everything that God has provided us. One down, 59 to go. Well, that's the end of this string. There's 10 buoys to a string. Every buoy has 5 traps on it. So there's 50 traps in a string. We've got 1 string down, 5 more strings to go. We're gonna haul 300 traps today, and we'll see how the day goes. We're catching a few lobsters so far. They're not looking too bad. They're not looking too great, but they're not looking too bad. So we're gonna get on and see what the rest of them look like. So if you're wondering what the zip tie is on there, that's just a way that I mark the end buoy. You just want to know when you get to the end that it's the last one, or the first one, whatever it may be. 50 down, 250 to go. That was the first string out of 6. 5 more strings to go. Every string has 10 buoys. Every buoy has 5 traps. So we're gonna haul 300 traps today. and we've got 5 more strings, 250 more to go. Here's a really cool trap. First thing it's got is a little codfish. There's a ton of these around. The government says there isn't, but I can tell you otherwise. Throw him back. But check out this beauty lobster right here. That's a nice lobster. That might even be a counter. We're gonna measure it. Nope, it's just a little bit oversized. Just a little bit oversized. That's about a 5-pound lobster right there. We measure them for, not only do we measure them small, but we measure them for oversized too. So that's 5 inches. He's over 5 inches from the eye to the back of his from the eye to the back of his carapace is over 5 inches. 5 inches is right about there. He's a little bit bigger. We protect these ones. These ones breed the big females. This is a big male lobster. You see his male flippers. We protect these, we throw them back, and that's how the industry sustains itself. So once again, well, there's a nice size lobster right there. That's about 1.5 pound lobster. Catching a few lobsters, middle of February out here, about 6 miles offshore, Winter Harbor, Maine. We're about 1/3 of the way into our day, and we'll keep you updated with anything cool we catch. So I want to show you guys how we tell male lobster from a female lobster. If you've been at it a long time like we have, we can tell just by looking at them like that. There's some features. Males usually have a bigger crusher claw and they have a narrow tail. Females will have a more pincher-like crusher claw and a wider tail. But the only sure way to tell is to turn them over and look at their flippers. So this here is a female lobster. You see the soft, feathery-like flippers? And this is a male lobster. They're hard. Very hard flippers here. So this is a male and this is a female. And this female is also protected. So when they get their eggs, they'll get their eggs all in here. They'll get 10,000 eggs per pound. And when they have those eggs, what we do is we mark this tail. You can see this tail right here is already marked. So this is what we call a punch tail lobster. And these are protected. This is one of the ways we protect the industry. So this lobster had eggs in the past. Somebody marked this tail with a V-notch, punched the tail. And so now it doesn't have eggs, but we throw them back. That's one of the ways we protect this fishery. Here's something pretty cool. Thought I'd show you guys this. This fish is called a sculpin. I am not gonna kiss this thing. I am not gonna kiss this thing. These things are ugly. They are ugly. Look at get a close up of those teeth. See those teeth on there? And back he goes. Well, like we knew it was gonna, it's starting to breeze up a little bit. Not breezing up much yet. I'd say it's about 10, 12 knots, but it's gonna keep breezing up. We're about halfway through the day. We got a couple more strings left, and we're just gonna try to get through them before this wind gets too breezy. Wanted to do a video on this one. This is pretty cool. This is a Gulf of Maine shrimp. These are, in my opinion, the best tasting shrimp in the world. This used to be a huge fishery in the state of Maine. We haven't been able to commercially catch these for about a decade now. The fishery's been shut down. The resource, they say, is depleted, but I know plenty of these come out of Canada. The Canadians still catch them. Here in Maine, we can't catch them, so there's no fishery in the United States. There's actually a few boats out this winter. They have experimental licenses. They're trying to catch some of these and see if the stock is rebounded at all. But These things will come up in the traps, on the traps, which is amazing because the traps have 1.5 inch mesh wire, and these little shrimp will just get stuck on them and land on the watchboards. But I thought it was pretty cool. I just wanted to show you guys what they look like up close. And these things are absolutely delicious. I hope we can get a fishery back for these things and start catching them and eating them again.
Now this is a first-hand view of what it looks like hauling traps. Got the pot hauler there, the rope coming up. Jimbo breaks the first trap. There's going to be 5 traps. We're fishing 5 trap trawls. We call them 5s. We don't call them trawls. We just call them 5s. And then I break the remaining 4 traps because as I break them, Jimbo's tending them ahead of me. So basically he's tending them all and I'm breaking them all. So he breaks the first one and tends them all. I break the last 4 and I really only sort of tend the 5th one, I guess. You know, occasionally it's a little bit different, especially in the fall when we're catching a lot of lobsters. You just do what needs to be done. Right now it's the middle of the winter. We're not really catching that many, so we can actually rip through these pretty fast. This is slightly sped up because I don't need to drag it out so you guys can see what we do. But there you see I tended that 5th trap, baited it, closed the door, and then put the boat in gear and circle around, set it in a clear spot. I'm looking at the chart plotter, I'm looking at the bottom machine, I'm looking for any other buoys around me, and then I set the trap in a clear spot. I've got to have enough runway to get 5 of these things off. They're 90 feet apart, and there you have it.
So we have here an egger. This is an egg-bearing female lobster. You can see the eggs on her there. This is about a 1-pound lobster. So she's got about 10,000 eggs on her. What we do in Maine is when we get an egg-bearing female, we go to this flipper and we mark it. Somebody has already marked this one. This is called the V-notch or a punch-tail lobster. And when they have eggs on them like that, or they're punch-tailed, we do that. We throw them back to preserve them. We toss them back, but not before we give them a snack. There she goes. Every fisherman gives them a snack. Maybe. Alright, so we were going through today, going through a pretty normal day. We're about 3/4 of the way done. It's breezing up. We're trying to rush through these last couple strings, and we caught something really, really cool. We caught a fairly blue lobster today. Fairly blue, hard shell lobster. I just want to show you the color difference in this thing. Look at the color difference in this lobster. That's a really cool lobster right there. It's a nice counter keeper lobster, male lobster, about 1.5 pounds. And that is a really neat lobster. Look at that. Look at the difference in the color in that thing. It's a really light colored, bluish lobster. Really cool. Alright, we gotta get going, get the rest of this day finished before it starts blowing too hard. Well, it's starting to breeze up out here, and I'm glad that we're starting our last string. So we got 10 more buoys here, 50 traps, and that'll be it for today. Hopefully we can get them in before it starts blowing too hard, but I think we're in good shape. It's only going to be blowing probably around 15-20 knots, so I'd say we're up around 12-14 knots right now, so it's not too bad, but it's starting to get a little bit snotty. And we got one more string and then we'll be done for the day.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That's what a full day of lobstering looks like in the winter from start to finish. I will say one thing, wherever you're watching this, you're probably a lot warmer than we were that day. It's Maine and it's February. It's cold. But we were fortunate to have a day where the wind wasn't blowing, the sun was shining. The temperature was a little higher than normal. And you know what? Despite my complaining, despite my joking around, I wouldn't trade it for anything. If I was going to trade it, I would have traded it by now. It's my heritage. It's who I am. It's what defines me. Look behind you.
Oh, good buddy.
He was walking right up on you.
I'm hungry. Any fish aboard there?
Well, another day, another dollar, right, Jimbo?
That's right.
Not too many dollars. A few dollars. More than we had before we left.
That's right.
It's February.
That's winter fishing.
Yeah, it's winter fishing. Something's better than nothing, as they say. What do they say? Better than a stick in the eye?
Right? Better than a sharp stick in the eye.
Yeah.